Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here at Connecting with Teens. Today, we got some excellent information from Karalee Katsambanis. Not only is she a fantastic mother, but she also has written a book on step parenting. She's going to be sharing some amazing strategies with us today. Karalee, what are you doing on Instagram these days?
Well, look, I'm doing a lot of things. Hello, Bernardo. Hello, everyone connecting with teens. First of all, I want to say, Bernardo, fantastic venture that you're doing. I can't stress how important it is. The family structure, connecting, as you say, with teens. You just seem to have hit the niche in the market that has been missing elsewhere. So what am I doing on Instagram? Well, look, primarily my Instagram account is for my book, which I've written about, but I'll give you a little intro about myself. So I'm 48 years old. I'm a mother of 3 children and a stepmother of 2 children, a boy and a girl who are now aged 26 and 25. And I became their stepmom when they were 11 and 12. But what I do is, my background is I was a television reporter. These days I do a lot of media training. I'm a host on one of our main radio stations here. I do a lot of TV nationally, and I talk about news and current affairs. The most important thing to me is being a great mum and also being a good stepmom. Now, as I said, my stepkids are now 26 and 25. And while, they're fully grown up, the job of a step parent never ends. The job of a parent never ends. But it's called Step Parenting with Purpose. Everything you wanted to know but were too afraid to ask. And what happened was, it launched a couple of days in March before COVID shut down the world. I set up an Instagram account not knowing anything about it, and I went and tried to connect with people in the step parenting sphere, which is how I met Bernardo as well. I was advised to use my Instagram account to just give my presence and say, hey, I'm somebody else that can offer a perspective on what it is like to raise stepchildren.
That is a crazy story considering your timing with your book. And then you just, what do I do now? Right? Like you said, everything just goes bananas. And
you'll be quite interested to know it's not anyone's fault, but you guys get, a step family day. You celebrate step parents, step grandparents, step aunts, step uncles. We have a step family day in Australia, which is the last Sunday in July, but it's only been running for 4 years. 4 years. I very quickly realized that as a step parent, you can't help but have an idealized notion about what you want for your stepchildren. But at the end of the day, you can only control what you do, what you say, and how you do it. But it means that you look at things through the prism, through the eyes of these children, because I often say that when one family splits apart, it's the end of one person's dream, but perhaps it's the beginning of somebody else's. And the majority of step parents that I know, they just want to make a positive difference in a child's life. You've run Connecting with Teens. They want to try and connect. They want to connect on a level with their stepchild in some way. If the mum is a fantastic cook, they don't suddenly want to go and do a cordon bleu cooking course to outwit the mum, but they're trying to find some way to connect. And for a step parent, it's really difficult because it doesn't come with a manual. If they're not your children, you don't really know what to do.
Definitely. You have no idea. And that's a tough position to be in. A couple of the questions that I had for you, you were talking about this idea that your ex, or how did you say it? Your ex is
your ex, but will never be your children's ex.
If you could speak to that.
Okay, so this is for parents and step parents. So when I do my talks here in Australia, I just say 2 key things I hope you take away, and just everyone can always learn or improve on what they're doing. So the first one is, your ex will always be your ex, but will never be your children's ex. So always remember that. Don't badmouth. Don't talk on your speakerphone in your car when you've got flappy ears behind you in the back seat. Your ex will always be your ex, but will never be your children's ex. They're always going to be your children's mother or father. All right? Your relationship has broken down, but their relationship with their mum or their dad hasn't. And so if you're bad-mouthing your ex all the time, you're making your own child feel pretty uncomfortable. And you know what? At some point, you were in love with that person. The relationship hasn't worked. You need to grow up a bit and move past that. The second strategy that I've got is there is no one right way to parent in a step parent family, but there is always one right way to behave, and that is with respect towards everyone in the step family. All right, so you treat people like you want to be treated. And I always say to people, if we'll just use a traditional man-woman relationship. If your husband has run off with his secretary, left you for someone 20 years older, bigger boobies, blonde hair, blue eyes, whatever, so be it. It's happened. You can't do anything about it, but you don't badmouth, right? You don't badmouth about it, and you can be angry. Your angry feelings are valid, but what you've got to realize is, do you really want that person back at the end of the day? They've done what they've done for a reason. It's about you trying to move forward, and badmouthing or being nasty about the other person isn't helping anybody. My message to a lot of biological parents is bad mouthing the step parent is not going to do you any favors at the end of the day. What I would remind people is that if your ex has repartnered, be glad that someone actually wants to try and make a difference in your children's life. And they're not going to get it right all the time. If you are always hostile towards them and the other relationship. I give an example, right? I used cooking before. Had a friend of mine. She'd divorced, husband had gone with a younger woman, etc., etc. And the younger woman was struggling as a stepmom, and she found that she could connect with her stepdaughter with cooking. So they made a banana cake, they made muffins, and she gave everything to the stepdaughter to take back to the mum. Well, the mum didn't realise that, said how lovely it was, and during the night the stepdaughter said, "Oh, I made it with Sally or Jennifer." And instantly the mum packed up the thing and said, "We're throwing that out, don't want anything to do with that woman." Now, it's interesting because I actually ended up speaking to this person and I said, "Listen, in the eyes of your daughter, this is someone who's taken an interest in her, who's doing some cooking with her. There is no difference to your best friend doing exactly the same. The fact that your husband left you for another woman, that's an adult issue. But you can't sully that relationship between your daughter and the stepmom, because at some point you have to accept the fact that your daughter will have different relationships with different people, and she's not favoring the stepmom over you. She's not going to love the stepmom more than the mum. And when people realize this, they become better step parents, but they also become better parents. And it is difficult. We all have human emotions. And that's what I say. You have every right to feel angry if your partner has left you for someone else, but you've got to suddenly grow up and really realize that you might hate it, you might do it through gritted teeth. You've got to treat everyone in the step family with respect.
You can't expect them, like you're saying, to be your best friend, but I love how you explained there's still somebody who's going to be in your child's life. Use that to your advantage, have them build a relationship, because it's just another adult that could make an impact.
The odds are stepchildren may become step parents themselves. And if they can't see really good workable relationships between their parents and their step parents, they're just going to keep repeating the same pattern of behavior, aren't they?
They will follow that for sure. So you definitely have to model what you want them to do if they were in your situation as well. And you're right, at least try to be respectful in some manner.
That's it. And I mean, Bernardo, you're running Connecting with Teens. I mean, you can imagine when I married my hubby, they were 11 and 12. Some people say, is it easier when kids are younger? I don't think it really matters on the age. The connection between a step parent and a stepchild really pivots on the relationship between the parents. And, step parents, I'm not saying that we need a medal or that we're a saint, but we're just trying to do our best. The same with any parent as well. It's the same as if a step parent should never badmouth or criticize another parent, because, again, you're wanting a workable solution to get through those childhood years.
Well, thank you so much, Karalee. Your advice definitely will be helpful to parents out there. So thank you for your time.
Oh, that's okay. I probably talked far too much, Bernardo, but thank you for the opportunity. And hey, let's talk again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, here are some ways that you can help support our efforts here at Connecting with Teens.